There's a very different feeling when I'm creating something for myself as opposed to creating something for somebody else, like a tutorial or a commission. And you'd think that kind of sitting down and creating would just feel the same regardless, but it really, really doesn't. And it's one of the reasons why over the last few years I've been very I want to say adamant, but that's not the right word. But I've been very adamant. I can't think of another word. That I do things for myself, that I create just for me, not with an intention for anything other than I would love to draw that. I would love to sit and just lose myself in this particular subject, and there is no outcome at the end. So I'm not drawing something to sell. I'm not drawing something to exhibit. I'm not drawing something for somebody else. I'm purely drawing it for me. And I'm not even drawing it to go up on a wall. I'm just drawing it for the sheer joy of drawing that particular subject. Because, of course, it's lovely to have that tangible thing at the end of your drawing, but that's not what brings me my that's not what brings my joy. My joy is sitting here at my drawing board drawing.
For years, I was caught up in my job, my marriage, and keeping everyone else afloat. I forgot what made me me. Then I picked up a colored pencil and remembered how much I used to love drawing. That moment showed me that creativity could be a portal freeing up space in my mind, space that wasn't filled with stress or worry. And in that space came a reset. I started to build new habits and little rituals. I realised I mattered too. I began creating time for myself, putting myself first instead of always last. That was the start of my creative comeback, and bit by bit, life lit up again. That's what living in full colour really is, having the courage to put yourself back in the picture, to feel brighter, braver and more alive. And that's what this podcast is here for, to help you find your spark and live in full colour too.
That's why I do it. I don't do it to make money from that. Actually, that's a stupid thing to say, isn't it? Because of course I make money from my art, because that's what I do for a living. What I'm trying to say is I don't draw for myself to make money. The majority of the drawings that I do for myself end up in a drawer. They don't end up framed, they don't end up on the wall, they don't end up selling, purely because I don't even put them up for sale. I mean, if I had a whole gallery of work for sale, there'd be a lot of them, and I imagine they probably would sell quite quickly, but that is never my intention when I'm drawing something for myself. And for me, that's been really, really important. It's been a key part of my development. It feels different in my body. So when I'm doing a tutorial, and commissions are different to tutorials because I can get engrossed in them. But when I'm doing a tutorial, I'm drawing it, I'm teaching it at the same time as I'm drawing it. So I'm drawing, I'm recording, I'm speaking. So I can't have any of the normal resources around me when I'm doing a tutorial. So I can't have my audiobooks on. I've got to have complete silence. I've got to try and find a way of doing it when there's little disruption in the house. I've got to have my door shut, all of those sorts of things. I have to kind of be cocooned away, because of course any kind of sound is going to be an issue within the recording. So, and then I've got to be talking all of the time. So I'm drawing as well as talking, teaching, talking about why I'm putting this down, why I'm putting that down. It's a very, very different experience creating a tutorial. It's enjoyable. Of course it's enjoyable because you're drawing, but there's a quite a big element that's missing. And that's the mindful element. You can't, or at least I can't, really get into flow when I'm doing a tutorial, because I'm always kind of conscious of, and with the weird thing is that teaching live is different to recording a tutorial. And you'd think that they were exactly the same, but it's not, which is really weird, isn't it? Because I can get more into the flow. A lot of the time when I'm teaching live and then somebody kind of asks a question, I'm somewhere different, and I'm like, whoa, oh God, forgot you've got all of those people in the Zoom call, forgot all about you, because I'm just like going off on one. But teaching live, again, is very different to teaching a tutorial. Teaching live, I tend to come out with more anecdotes. I tend to come out with more of the coaching side of stuff, because people are not necessarily drawing along with me. They're sort of maybe just sitting and listening, all of that kind of stuff. So, every kind of drawing brings a different sort of feeling. And when I'm working on a commission, I do obviously lose myself. I can have my Harry Potter on, and I can just completely immerse myself in the drawing. But again, the subject has been thrust on me, if you like. It's not a subject I've chosen. It's not a subject I've gone, oh gosh, I really must draw this subject. Obviously, I'm loving drawing the subject, and it's really, really gorgeous. But it's not something that initially sparked that interest where I'm like, oh my God, I really need to draw this. I really need to draw this. And it kind of fills you with this excitement. You don't get the same kind of excitement, I don't think, with something that's been sort of laid out for you. Okay, so you're going to draw this now. I don't think you get that same kind of excitement. But also there's an element of, you've got to get it right. You've got to get the animal. It's got to look like the animal, obviously. You've got to get that spark in the eyes. You've got to get this right. You've got to get that right. You've got to, there's none of my laissez-faire, oh, it'll do. You can't have a, oh, it'll do with a commission. It's got to be, not perfect, because nothing's perfect, but it's got to be, it's got to be that animal. So there's that element of, really sort of feeling a little bit stress with it, a little bit sort of that anxiety. And I think a lot of the time that's why people start doing commissions and then stop doing them, because it gets a little bit too stressful. There's just all that pressure on you to perform and to create something that is absolutely amazing. And a lot of the time, of course, we're given photographs that aren't particularly amazing. I when I can, I take my own photos, which it really, really helps. But a lot of the time, oh my goodness, you're working with some real poor photos, and that can be real pressure and real stress in itself. And then when I'm working for something for me, I'm just sort of having a bit of a conversation with myself here. Do I go intentionally looking for a specific photograph? So am I like, oh gosh, I want to draw, this kind of subject, and then I go intentionally and go and look for that subject? Or do I just randomly look at photos and just see what kind of calls to me? One of the things that I've started to do recently with the free image sites, and I think it's Pexels that works the best. I don't actually put in a subject. What I do is I just go onto their homepage, and they have these monthly themes and all of that kind of stuff. And I just go onto their homepage and I just have a look, and I'm like, is there anything here that kind of is inspiring? And that's been quite useful. And then I've also been playing around with Midjourney, which I know some people aren't overly enamored with with AI. And I think used responsibly, AI can be really helpful, a really, really helpful tool for creatives. When I say used responsibly, I mean used responsibly. What I don't mean is take a picture and distort it to make it look a little bit different. What I'm talking about is having an image in your head, an idea in your head, and then creating that image. That can be really, really helpful. And I know a lot of artists I follow use things like Midjourney for some of their idea creation. And for me, it's just being open-minded but also responsible. Anything that I create, I don't draw on anything from an AI piece. It's more sort of the ideas. But anything that I've considered using, I've always done a reverse image search and a Google Lens search just to see if it has actually taken something. And it never has. But it means that you can bring the visions in your head to life, which is, that really, really excites me. That really excites me. But when I'm drawing something just for me, there's something very, very, very special about that. It takes you right back to that whole reason that you started creating in the first place. It's all very much about, for me anyway, drawing is very much about how it makes me feel. And doing something just for me, no outcome, I've got no intention of selling it or anything, that is where I am at my absolute most joyous. It's just, I'm in my studio, I've got my dogs, I've got my coffee, I've got my Harry Potter, and I'm drawing something that has really grabbed me. And that is the best feeling in the world.
Enough waffling from me. Here's to living in full colour.